Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Arif Daniel bin Azharuddin. Today, I am going to make an article critique on the article Resolving Conflict in the Workplace and why common sense isn't enough. First of all, I'm going to summarize the article. The article Resolving Conflict in the Workplace and why common sense isn't enough argues that common sense alone is not enough to resolve workplace conflicts. While people handle conflict intuitively, proper training and skills are needed for effective results. Most conflicts start from poor communication and perceived unfairness in workload, benefit, or favoritism. The article stressed that training manager in basic conflict management skills such as active listening and interest-based bargaining is the most valuable solution. When conflicts are resolved well, employees become more engaged and feel psychologically safe. Bringing in a mediator is described as a sign of strength, not weakness. Now, let's move on to the critical analysis. I strongly agree with the article's central argument that conflict resolution must move beyond common sense and intuition to structure professionally support strategies. This is justified by academic research proving the high hidden cost of unmanaged conflict which requires specialized intervention. In a global context, I will share two examples of the consequences of unmanaged conflict. Firstly is work-life and relationship tarnish. Unmanaged conflict, especially in the form of workplace, verbal aggressiveness from supervisors or co-workers directly creates work-group relationship conflict. This relationship damage then triggers individual work-life conflict and tarnish the quality of employee-organization relationships, specifically reducing trust, satisfaction, and commitment. And the second one is loss of corporate knowledge. When conflict exists, employees feel a relational psychological contract breach. This breach is a mediator that drives employees to engage in knowledge-hiding behavior. This loss of shared knowledge severely impacts innovation and competitiveness. For the real-life example of consequences unmanaged conflict for work-life and relationship tarnish is at Uber. Some supervisors use harsh and aggressive communication. When this conflict was not handled with a proper system, relationship at work became worse and employees felt stressed even after work. This shows that relying on common sense is not enough. Companies need structured conflict management to protect trust and employee well-being. And for the loss of corporate knowledge is Microsoft all-ranking system cause competition and mistrust between employees. Without a formal way to manage this conflict, workers hide knowledge to protect themselves. As a result, teamwork and innovation slow down. This proves that organizations cannot depend on informal method. They need proper process to reduce conflict and prevent knowledge loss. Now, we move on to the local context. The majority of Malaysian business are MSME. Research confirms that in this unique context, adopting structured conflict management practice is necessary and has a significant positive correlation with employee satisfaction. This validates the main article's point which to formalize management even in smaller firms is better than informal common sense methods. It also shows that even limited resources do not prevent MSME from benefiting proper conflict system. As a result, structured approach can directly enhance workplace harmony and long-term organizational stability. For the real-life example, the Malaysian Code on Governance for MSME encourages ethical conduct and require establishing policies to manage conflict of interest. For example, the need for active listening and open communication techniques highlighted by conflict resolution practitioner is emphasized in Malaysian workplace to prevent misunderstanding and reduce tension. After all of the critical analysis, here is my 3 recommendations. Firstly is adopt formal alternative dispute resolution. Organizations should establish mediation as the structured go-to method for relationship conflict. Crucially, the process must be backed by an organizational commitment to ADR and conduct by independent, experienced and qualified mediators to ensure trust and credibility. Secondly is enhance psychological resilience in decision making. Organizations need to use a formal framework to evaluate decision maker psychological states and resilience. Targeted strategy should then be formulated to mitigate conflict by addressing the information cocoon effects, ensuring that less resilient individuals do not suppress conflicting viewpoints, and lastly, mandate conflicts management training. All supervisory staff, especially in MSME, should undergo mandatory training in conflict resolution techniques like interest-based bargaining and be encouraged to call in professional mediators when out of their depth. That's all from me. Thank you.